What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. And again, we're going to do another week of best bets and drivers to watch. This week, we will be at Dover, the only trip to Dover, which is kind of disappointing because I've always liked Dover. I've always thought that Dover, brings a pretty good show. The drivers seem to like it. It's the monster mile, but just one trip to Dover now. So real quick, Talladega. Got to put the hand up. Got to put the hand up. What wasn't what I thought, honestly, at all. I said, look at the Fords. Really, the only Ford that performed well was Michael McDowell. I said, look at him as maybe a long shot, and he did well. He scored the top 10. I think he finished 8th. Ross Chastain, a Chevy, ended up winning. A lot of Chevys. Hendrick did well. Larson was right there at the end. Eric Jones, a Chevy, was right there at the end. Kyle Busch had a good run, so good for him. But yeah, I mean, I thought the Fords were going to dominate. Blaney didn't do well. RFK didn't do well. So it's tough, right? Talladega is one of those tough tracks. But I thought the momentum from Daytona, and honestly, the last couple of super speedways kind of have really been dominated by Fords. I thought that would carry over, and unfortunately, last week it just did not. So, we'll move past it. It is what it is. I think I got a good idea of what I'm looking at this week for Dover. So let's get right into it. So Dover, the only track on the schedule that is exactly 1 mile. Obviously, New Hampshire is close to a mile. Phoenix is close to a mile. But exactly 1 mile, that is Dover. If you flash back to last year's Dover race, this is when the Hendrick Chevys, I think this was the first time they finished 1, 2, 3, 4, which was crazy and insane. And Larson ended up leading the most laps, but Alex Bowman ended up winning. And again, just to think about Hendrick Chevy's going 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's literally insane. But they did it. And the other thing about Dover, which I've always found unique, is the big names really tend to have success at Dover. So you look at Hamlin, Harvick, the Busch brothers, Larson, Elliott, Truex, even now Bowman. Like, these are all guys that have had success at Dover. Jimmy Johnson has success at Dover. I don't know, the list. Tony Stewart, the list kind of goes on and on with Dover. It always seems to be a track where the big names find ways to win, which honestly isn't always the case with some of these like middle of the pack 1 milers. Like New Hampshire is a 1 mile track as well, and New Hampshire has had a lot of different shock winners over the years. A lot of guys that you're like, wow, that guy won. I mean, just take a look back last year. Eric Almirola shaped up the whole playoff grid when he won at New Hampshire. But Dover, again, seems to be a track where the big names are going to come through and get a win. So let's look at some of the scenarios that I think are going to play out. So the first thing is, we look back last year, the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Hendrick Chevys. I assume that Hendrick is going to be a driving force here this week. If you look at Larson, I believe Larson is the favorite right now to take it and win it. Larson had a lot of speed at Talladega, so maybe that momentum. I personally think that the momentum from Hendrick, having a good week at a super speedway, I think that's going to carry over here. And I think Hendrick is definitely the team to watch. Just coming off of 1, 2, 3, 4 last year, I think they're going to be energized and ready to do that again. I think they're going to have a shot to win. So I think Hendrick is a clear favorite here. Looking at, if you want to bet on someone, I would take those Hendrick guys. Now, I will say though, if we look at probably the most similar track to Dover, not the way it's configured, but in terms of length, that would be Phoenix. In the Phoenix race this year, no Hendrick Chevys finished in the top 10. So I do think that is a unique thing to note, that I think the highest finisher was Chase Elliott, finishing 11th. But at the same time, I think just coming off a good week, coming off last year's Dover performance, I expect Hendrick to have a really, really good shot at this thing. Larson probably I would put up top on that. Bowman, again, he's had a pretty good year. Byron, I think, again, he's got the 2 wins. Maybe he could make it 3. Chase Elliott searching for his first win. That'd be a good story. He's already won at Dover, I believe in 2019 or 2018. He won at Dover, so he's had success there. So watch those Hendrick Chevrolets. The next guy I'm going to look at is Tyler Reddick. He should have won Bristol Dirt, and he could have won Phoenix. He lost that one also to Chase Briscoe. So he's a guy, he's had speed all year. I feel like he's pretty good everywhere, but this style track, I think, suits him pretty well. And this is a tough track to drive. I mean, this is a tough track to drive. So you need to have talent here. And that's why a lot of these big names seem to have success here, because you have to have talent. Tyler Reddick is a super talented driver. So I would watch for him. You could throw Austin Dillon. I think that team has had a lot of success. Austin Dillon has had a really good season too. But definitely look at Tyler Reddick. I think this is a track where he could score his first win. I mean, I know we've said that so many times about Tyler Reddick, but I think this is a place where, he really could get it done. And then the next guy / team, I would say, is Kevin Harvick in Stuart Haas Racing. So Kevin Harvick has, I think, since 2015, won here 3 times, won a playoff race here, I believe, when Dover still had 2 races. And look, Kevin Harvick is a guy, if you look back at Richmond, which is a 3/4 miles track, he was right there to take it away from Denny Hamlin at the end at that racetrack. Not super similar, but pretty similar in length, with this 0.75 in the 1 mile. And I think Kevin Harvick, you pile that with the success he's had here, I would look at him, and I would look at Stuart Haas Racing. I told you Briscoe won at Phoenix, which is the other 1 mile we've raced, or close to 1 mile we've raced. Briscoe also is one of the only drivers with 2 wins. So he's kind of had speed all season. He's been good all season. So I like Stuart Haas Racing. I would put Briscoe and Harvick on the top of those. Almirola's had a good season. I know I continue to talk about him on this show, but it just seems like he does not, have bad finishes. I mean, he doesn't have DNFs, and that's been so big on his team's success of why they're hanging around. They just keep getting points. That's the name of the game. When some of these guys are having DNFs, Eric Almirola is just there at the end, no matter if it's 22nd or 5th. He's going to finish. So look, I like Briscoe. I like Harvick. I like Stuart Haas Racing. I think they can have a good week. I think this track suits their drive. Briscoe's another guy, really talented driver. I think his driving style fits Dover quite well. But I would expect probably a big name to win this thing. Honestly, I would put my favorite right now as Larson. And then just beneath him, I would put Kevin Harvick. And then I think you could go with some Hendrick bets. You can go with Reddick. You can go with Briscoe, whatever you want to sprinkle in there. But I think this is going to be an entertaining race. Phoenix wasn't the most entertaining race. It would probably rank in the bottom 3rd, I would say, of tracks this year. But I think Dover is a unique track. It's, like I said, tough to drive. The drivers enjoy being there. The drivers enjoy going there. The trophy is freaking awesome, which I know, that sounds corny, but that Monster Mile trophy is something special to keep in your cabinet, whatever, if you're a driver. So again, Hendrick Chevys, Tyler Reddick, Stuart Haas Racing, I think, are the people you should look at this week. And target a big name. Target a big name. That's the best advice I can give you. Just target a big name. I do not expect anything shocking here. I think a big name is going to take this thing. So we'll see. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Put that in the chat, in the comment section, and give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.